when you come to the private schools fraternity, there are certain parameters that we need to address it very well and make our listeners very clear to that. We do have three categorization of private education systems in Ghana.
Three
And
categorizations.
each of the category has their own governance structure.
Okay.
And that is, we have the elite groups being managed by the International Association of Private Schools in Ghana. We call it ASET. Then it's being supported by a research group called FED, that is Foundation for Education Development in Ghana, FED. Then we do have the mission populated sect people. I mean, those who are into partnership with churches and other affiliate bodies. And they are also being managed by the Montessori type group. Then we do have the last group called the low fee paying school, which actually constitutes 75% of the number of over 22,000 schools in the country. And my brother, the point is that on the 28th of October, we received a letter from the Ministry of Education signed by the executive director or the director of pre-tertiary, inviting all the private schools unions to meet and discuss on the way forward private schools can also champion the educational delivery in this country.
Okay.
But before then, during this COVID time, the leadership of the various associations met, and specifically it was led by the Ghana National Council of Private Schools research unit. And we came out with 4 major revolutionary changes parameters or pillars. The first one is that we need to reform the content-based aspect, which I will discuss with you in details.
All right.
Of what we do in the schools. And then we need to also look at building and technological structures to meet the global demands of education. And the third one was to have a union or a collective voice that will speak one unity to make sure that private schools' voice are well overheard. And the last one is to do what we call practice the corporate governance practices, where it will take away the practice of self-governance, where I have set up my school and that is all, and I don't take any advice from any teacher or any parents. So more or less, we are trying to work with all the stakeholders, the 5 stakeholders, namely teachers, educational consultants, parents, school owners, and school heads, to form let's say, one collective understanding practice in our education, and that is what we call the corporate governance.
Okay.
So in achieving the third pillar, which is the union aspect, the council wrote to all the associations and even copied NASIA, or National Inspectorate Board, that we want to meet and have a union on 28th of October in Accra. That is a Atomic Energy Commission.
Okay.
We invited the ministry, we invited sister agencies as well. And then we invited the civil society organizations. So Kofi Asare, Imani Ghana, IFES Ghana, and all the Ghana Education Coalition campaign, all of them came. New Genesis Education, they all came.
Yeah.
And when we met at that room, the leadership agreed and signed a treaty that all of us are coming together at the leadership level to represent the private schools at the ministry, and for that matter, if there are any discussion the ministry wants to have with us, it will be in that. We have to put it on the records that when we invited NASIA, they didn't come. And we have to also understand that NASIA is there to just certify schools and, let's say, enforce standards. They are not there to look at the day-to-day administrative of the schools, like how teachers will teach and that. They just go to the school and see that standards are there. That is their mandate. You can read from the acts. It is very clear. So when we invited them, they didn't come. We thought that even it is not part of their duty to even see the affairs of it, but at least at the friendly manner, they could have even been part of us to move or march forward. And then we wrote a letter to the pre-tertiary, that is the Ministry of Education, in charge of all the pre-tertiary schools, I mean both the public and the private, that we want to have a presentation with them and issues that we have come out with. So they granted us the presentation on the 4th of November. Keep the date very well.
Okay.
At Aknak Hotel. And that meeting was graced by the Deputy Minister of Education. Although the time we were having our presentation, the Deputy Minister has left because it was during the heat of the election time.
Okay.
And at that meeting, we gave out the formation, people representing the coalition from all the associations. And on records, it is 8 associations that they have come together to form that coalition.
Okay.
And we made our input at that meeting. And it was a report that has been generated on that you can go to the ministry and get a copy of it to read to your audience.
All right.
So it got to the point that we have to even go to Adan for certain programs, Gallup programs and all that. And the coalition was represented by the ministry. And then we decided that it is very important we adore this committee for people to know the intentions and what we are doing. And then we decided to write letters inviting people. And we have to put it also on the records that the very day we were doing the meeting at Aknak, the ministry invited all the sister agencies, namely NTC, represented by their PRO, NACA was also represented by their head of master trainers, I think Mr. Annan, also Dr. Annan. Okay. And then Nasia was invited, but they didn't come. That is one thing we have to let people know, because they claim that they are supervising education and more particularly about private schools. So if ministry have called your people for you to have a look at or listen to their grievances, you should have even been the lead, and the other organization, other sister agents should have been even the collaborators. They didn't come. So after that meeting, they were not in the known of whatever was going in the ministry. And when we scheduled our, let's say, inauguration on the 15th, we realized that a letter was written to the public that that committee was fake. And even I understand you from the basis of your intro to this program, and I realize that you are a very good legal, let's say, person. And if you can qualify something that is a fake, one thing you should have to notice a date. Even the date that NASPIA wrote on their letter was not appropriate. You can check it. Even they wrote on it was Friday, and that Friday was 11th. But whether mistakenly or ignorantly of the work that they are doing, they wrote on the 12th. So if that letter is qualifying somebody and a legal entity as fake people, meanwhile, they also copy the same people in their letterhead, that these are the people they should receive the letter. The people that they have come together, your letter dated is wrong. And it is there, it is up there, it is on their Facebook page. You can go and copy it and read, because it's supposed to be on the 11th. And anything that any letter or legal document, the date doesn't in conformity with the actual, let's say, date, it makes it fake. So their letter is also even fake. And we went ahead to do the inauguration. I'm telling you, the turnout was so massive. Over 800 people came, and some people didn't even get place to sit down and all that. The point that we have to make sure is that, or put our place that we have been inaugurated. And as I'm speaking to you now, I'm even at Pediatric Lodge, attending a meeting with the ministry. So people should just disregard whatever they are saying. And they are also here. So people should even disregard what they are saying, because one, constitutionally, we don't take authority from them to set up unions. And two, what we are saying is we are looking at the administrative functions of the private school. That is more of the day-to-day working of the private school, having interaction with associate members, having interaction with foreign partners to shape the face of private school. That is what we are looking at it. And we are not doing this alone, like it is proprietors or school owners who are doing this. We are doing this with all the cyclical patterns of the stakeholders in the private schools. So the civil society organization is being represented by Neogenics, whereby and beneath it, we have other coalition members from NEC, GNEC, we have people from IFET, we have people from Imani Ghana, we have people from African Education Watch. They are all part of these people. Plan Ghana, Comfort, they are all part of the coalition. And then we have teachers representative on it. We have parents. For the first time, put it on record that the National Teachers Association Council, Parents Teachers Association Council at the national level has been represented on the coalition for the private schools, so that the issues, I think we can go back during the COVID time, you realize that there were a lot of issues between the private schools and the parents and all that. This is what we want to address, and anybody who is really interested in by the progression and the independent development of education will applaud for us. So it is rather unfortunate, and they came out, but we have to put it on record that the date on their letter even makes it a fake letter.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Enoch, let me put this across. How will you feel when a government institution such as NACIA discredited a committee set up for a purpose known to be the best for you? How do you feel when you've been told that it's a fake news? Because when it was sent to me personally, that's a fake news. I saw the invitation for the lunch. Then I realized it was a fake news. It was a bit contradictory. How do you feel at that instance, since it is now taking your followers to misunderstand the whole procedure, since now the private schools are trying to be brought into the limelight? You know, private education and the leadership become very instrumental during the COVID period. And now that you've been told your committee is even a fake committee, how do you take that as an institution?
I think we take it as one of the setbacks that is obviously supposed to happen when you are doing the right thing. For I personally, as a leader and a spokesperson to that committee, it is nothing to worry me. This cannot boost anything, or it can't bring my morals, or let's say my competencies and other things that we are doing for this country backwards.
Okay.
These are some of the things we can consider as people who can even stood up because they like disunity. You know, there are a lot of disunity among the private schools. And at any time there are disunity and all that, people try to leverage on it to also create monies and make themselves happy. People, accountability and responsibility of the checks and balances will not be well felt. You get the point?
Yeah.
So just imagine over 22,000 private schools and talking about over 300,000 workers, parents, consultants coming together as a force to reckon with. If you are not in good shape of whatever you are doing, there will be a jittery and there will be some kind of running helter-skelter, and that is the result of what they did. Okay. And in fact, as I'm speaking to you now, I'm just at Pediatric Lodge, and we are with them having a same meeting, a roundtable conference meeting, discussing the way forward. So it is just like a public misconception, public misleading document that they wrote it up. And we have to put it on record that we also came out with a rebuttal or a disclaimer. Immediately, they brought that issue. Okay. So there was a disclaimer to that, and I think it has been resolved.
All right.
The ministry, the head of the pre-tertiary unit called and spoke to us, and I know very well that they also spoke to them. The deputy minister was on phone between her, the three of us was on phone, and I think our points were very clear to them.
Okay.
And we made it very clear before even the launch of the program. So
Good.
we are in good terms with them.
Great.
And we are partners, we are key partners. If we are not there, the session cannot operate. You have to let that one to be very clear also.
All right. Let me go to Claudia. Claudia, are you there?
Yes, Ferdinand.
Yes, you are an educationist, and I'm sure the issue at hand with PEG and NISA, you've heard about it as well. How do you take that as an educationist?
Okay. Let me say very good morning to your listeners once again. It's quite worrying that the pandemic has to expose the bad system we are running as a country. I don't think we would have known all these lapses in the system had the pandemic not occurred. This pandemic showed us how it is difficult for teachers, parents, and the whole system to run aside coming to face-to-face contact, especially with the public sector as well. But I think it's not the best. I know the National Inspectorate Board and is it NACIA?
Yeah.
They have their own issues. It's difficult trying to bring the private schools together, looking at the nature of, especially the third group he described, those who are the small private schools, because you go around and you see these private schools, somebody's home within 2 years, 3 years, turned into a private school. So they keep springing up now and then. Some of them, you go there, you realize that if they are to go through the normal system of getting accreditation to operate as a school, then they will not qualify, because a school must have a compound, a playground, and all that. And you and I know, you go around and you see some of these schools that are squeezed into a very small place.
Yeah,
So
Claudia,
I
before
think
you
they
continue,
come into
Claudia, before you continue, let me get back to Stanok.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you've heard her. She made mention of a point that you can just take your bedroom, your sitting room, then you've got 3 kids seated down, then you've got a school. Is that not affecting the quality of production as private institutions?
Yes, it is obviously certain so, but what we have to understand is that every resource or everything that you are seeing in the private schools has its own root causes. The reason I'm saying this is that when you go to Kumasi, Swami, I'm just using Swami environs as an example. The education parameters of setting up its institutions has it in that a clear dimensions of setting up schools are spelled out. And it has one component that before you can set up a school, you need to even check the dimensions, the distance between a sister school and the school that you're about to set it up. And all the areas that has been filled with government schools, I'm saying Swami, because Swami, you have Wesco demonstration, where the teacher training school is filling the public schools within, and quality education is assured. People find it difficult to set up private schools over there. On the same stretch, in Asante region, when you go to Abusiakrua, that environment has over 5,000 or let's say 10,000 inhabitants. And you will not get a piece of land that is earmarked for public education or public school. And for that matter, the people over there feel it in such a way that, okay, let us use our premises to set up the schools. When you go to Kasua, for instance, the Kasua environs has over 1,260 schools as private, as against 271 as public schools. What it means is that the architectures of our state lands are not earmarking lands for public schools. So if we want to deprive the people, the children over there, it means that they will not be able to get quality or get school. And the private investor who wants to do a social service also turns in their, let's say, their asset or their houses to set up schools. And that is the reason that we need to look at it. If we can go holistically or critically and strictly to by saying that, okay, before you set up a school, these are the criteria. And you should also understand from the education point of view that we don't have what we call private education policy in this country.
Okay.
We don't have a sector that contributes over 41% of education in terms of infrastructure, and then 33% in terms of enrollment. It's left ajar. We just came in. You know, I don't have a school. I'm not somebody that is entitled to one single school.
Okay.
I do partner a lot of schools to run and do my business. That is a different story. But this is the reason why some of us have to leave even our legal works to come to education and make sure that we can shape the face of private schools in this country.
Okay.
We don't have a policy that directs that if you want to set up a school, my sister Claudia want to set up a school, they can just go and read about it. These are this and that and that and that and that. We don't have it. So these are some of the causes. Thank you very much.
All right. Let me go to CITAG. Nathan.
Hello, Ferdinand.
Yes. College of Education Teachers Association of Ghana. You are in charge of colleges of education, and election is over. You have private colleges as well. Does CITAG manage the affairs of or represent private colleges as well, or you just deal with public colleges?
Okay, thank you very much, and I want to say good morning to all the panelists. I want to say good morning to all CITAG members nationwide who are listening to us at the moment. Currently, I know that we have 46 public college of education in Ghana, and as it is, the private college of education has not been brought online with the CITAG establishments.
Okay.
Because we are currently structured in such a way that we only deal with the public college of education as gazetted by the Ministry of Education. So we don't deal with the affairs of the private institutions.
So does that mean that the private institutions fall under PEG or maybe NACOPS? Or I think Enoch should tell us that. If Enoch.
Yes, sir.
Does the private colleges of education fall under your establishment?
No, please. You have to understand that we have two major lines here.
Okay.
We have the pre-tertiary schools and then the tertiary institutions. So with the pre-tertiary schools, starting from kindergarten to senior high schools, as described in the Educational Act 778. And then when you go to the university bills that is being contended as we speak now, also put all the courses right away from WASI as a tertiary institution. So with the tertiary institutions, we have what we call private education council, private tertiary education council. That is made up of all these private institutions together. But the challenge that has been for them is that they find it very difficult to unite them. It is only, I know very well that Delta University and then Valley View University started to mobilize their colleagues to make sure that they can have a space to operate as, let's say, tertiary private schools union on that sort. But it has become very difficult for bringing these people together, understanding the dynamisms and the kind of competition that they are all trying to, compete with. So the private teacher training colleges are not part of the pre-tertiary institutions as we speak now.
Okay, great. So CITAG, Nathan.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, CITAG is representing the teachers, but obviously the students are also under your care as parents. You know that we are expecting a new academic year in January. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes.
Go on.
Are we expecting a double track College of Education next academic year?
All right. I think no, we are not expecting a double track, because the double track as a term being used to describe what the implementation of the free SHS cannot be said same so far as the College of Education is concerned.
Okay.
But however, there are arrangements being put in place to deal with, one, the numbers that are coming in, especially those that are coming from the free SHS program because of the share numbers. We are going to have to, as it were, admit more students than the colleges normally take. Current averagely, now you have colleges taking around 500, 600 students. Compared to what had been the case, that is 300, 250 and all that. So it means that an arrangement had to be put in place. So what is being done is that we are now trying to go on to or implement what we term as the blended learning. Blended learning. So if you should note that for me, blended learning. In such that we will have currently we have three different cohorts. The level 100 are coming in now. Then we have the level 200 and we have the level 300. Now the level 100 will have a complete full semester. So when they come in school, they will have full face-to-face lesson or interaction. However, the level 200 and the level 300 are those that will be engaged in the blended learning. Now the blended learning, if
can you come again, please? The level 100 will go full time, right?
Full time. They will have a full semester face-to-face.
Okay.
Whilst the level 200 and the 300, they will have the blended learning. They will do 6 weeks face-to-face and 6 weeks online. Now, to help deal with the situation, because as you know, we are now in the third year of the...
Yeah, I can hear you.
4-year period. Previously, we didn't have such a situation. When you get to the second year, you have to go out so that there will be space and all that.
Yeah.
But now we are going to have 4 years. We are now in the third year. So it means that all the three cohorts cannot be on campus. So it means that they have to alternate. So whilst one cohort teams up with the level 100 to do the face-to-face, the other group will be doing the online.
Okay.
For 6 weeks. So the level 200 will be doing face-to-face 6 weeks on campus, while the level 100 are also there. Then after the 6 weeks, the level 200 will leave to go and do their online learning. Then level 300 will come in to do their face-to-face also for 6 weeks. So that is a blended learning approach that is being
all right. So let me come here. Let me come in, please. So level 100 are going full-time face-to-face. They have no problem. It means they are taking charge of the campuses. Yeah. Level 200 and 300 are blending 6 weeks face-to-face, 6 weeks online. Does that mean that when level 200s are online for 6 weeks, their counterpart level 300s are face-to-facing?
Yeah.
So when then they will also interchange within the next 6 weeks.
Yes.
So it means that if I want to go to... Okay, so you are using the blended system.
Blended learning system.
Good.
Yeah.
So the blended learning system, which maybe the SHS will say they have, how do they call it? They're double track.
They are doing a double track.
Good.
But it has nothing to do with what we are going
to. So from the colleges of education, the blended learning system is taking only level 200s and 300s.
Yes.
Okay, and so that is for level 100, they have no issue with blending at all.
No, they are going to blend, yeah.
All right. So what happens to off-campus teaching practice?
Okay, now if you look at the 4-year program, it is quite different from what you've been used to.
Okay.
Formally, you realize that you have to do the 3 years, you have to do that as a post-secondary or the diploma. You have to do observation within your first year after school has gone on vacation.
Yeah.
Then when you come in your third year, you go out for 1 year, and that is the second year. Third year, you spend 1 year as internship. But with this particular year program, it has been fine-tuned in such a way that the teaching practice, we don't allocate that kind of long period for students to go out to do 1 year.
Okay.
But when you're on campus, you are supposed to do 1 day school teaching support. We call it STS, unlike what you know, teaching practice, STS. 1 day of the week. So every day, as agreed by a particular institution, the students will go to schools that have been identified to, in this particular STS program. So you realize that the teaching practice, as you are saying, STS, is throughout their stay on campus. And per the program, they are supposed to do 6 weeks of STS. So it means that whilst they are on campus to do their face-to-face, every week of within the 6 weeks, they are supposed to do 1 day STS to, as it were, to do what we have as the teaching practice or their interactions with the public schools, so that they will be able to hone their skills of teaching and have familiarity with the teaching environments.
Okay.
So
before I come to my questions on that, so does that mean that only final years, as it used to be, were engaged in the STS?
All the 3 cohorts will be doing the STS.
Okay.
From level 300, 200. So it's a 4-year STS program. There's a total change in the face of the teaching practice as we have now. Now you have to go every week. You have a particular schedule. You have to go and do observation. You have to interact with the teachers. You have to also come out with a journal. Then you come and meet your supervisors to discuss your challenges and certain maybe discoveries or observations that you made. Then you use it to prepare your journal, and that journal will add up to your score for your STS or your teaching practice. So now it is more on extensive training, hands-on activities that the teachers have to go through, unlike where you have to do the STS or the teaching practice at the end of the program. But now you interface with that's the pedagogy as well as the content. So you come to the classroom, they teach you, they expose you to the content. You go back every week to the classroom to find out whether what you are being taught at the college is the same that is being implemented in terms of even the administrative setup of the school and all that. So it's being interfaced so that you complete the 4 years as a complete and a holistic teacher than what we used to have, whereby you have to wait for 3 years before you are exposed to the teaching environment.
So does that mean that the STS, which you have, say 6 weeks of STS once a week, where you do observation, meeting with teachers to create your journal, which is part of your score, is it for only the final years, or the moment you get into level 100, you are going to have 6 weeks of STS to complete your course with the BEd course?
Yes, from level 100 to level 400, you will be engaged in the STS program 6 weeks, once a week, for all the colleges of education in Ghana.
Oh, okay.
So that at every week there's a scheduled program, so that at the end of the semester you submit your teaching practice journal for assessment.
Okay. Good. Well understood. What is the future for teacher education, Nathan?
Yes, I think I'll say I'm very, very much delighted with the future, or what the future holds for college education in Ghana. Let's say now, with the various policies in place, especially with the 4-year degree program, it has given a form of lifeline to college education in Ghana as we speak. Now, college education as it used to be, people didn't consider college education as an option. But now college education is not an option, and it's institutions that people are now looking out for to enter, because it's now a degree awarded institution. Likewise, if you look at the conditions of service of teachers within the college education fraternity, we are hopeful with the educations and the things that are really being given and exposed to the teachers in the college education to motivate them to really deliver the 4-year degree program. So I would say, all in all, it is very promising, and we are all inspired to deliver, to promote education and the trade.
Okay. Nathan, are you there? Good. Before I continue with you, let me go to the Deputy Secretary of the Coalition of Concerned Teachers, Patrick. Yeah, Patrick, are you there?
Yeah.
When teacher trainees are done with their course, they come to the classroom. You convince them to join your associations or your unions, the NAT, the NAGRATs, the CCTs, the Innovative Teachers, and ATA. Now, listening to Nathan, you both share almost similar portfolios. Do you think the future of teacher education is clear in relation to the quality of education in the basic level?
As Nathan was speaking, I was just jotting down some points.
Great.
We are moving to a blended mode of learning. Are we prepared? Because I've had an experience with the blending mode of learning. You have to get a stable internet connection. You have to get some amount of sophisticated gadgets to be able to access the learning. How are we sure that these students have these gadgets? How are we providing the internet connections? How have the trial been? And also the new 4-year program that they have introduced. I think that we are missing something there because the previous one that we had, the students go out for 1 year to have an art program, and one of the key experiences they pick from there is the community engagement and experience.
Okay.
So that when they have completed their course of study, they can be able to blend with the community. They will have that experience of interactions and all those stuff. I don't know how the course have been structured to take care of that. If Nathan can help.
Good. Yeah, Nathan. Yes, these are
Yeah.
salient points.
I think that, it's good. I picked two things. That is, how are we prepared to do the blended learning? Then also the STS, the model we are going to. The first one, the challenge, yes. I think that with the COVID experience really brought to bear our technological deficit so far as education is concerned. And the country needed to rise to the occasion to ensure that education continue irrespective of the pandemic. Yes, so over the period, I think from March to date, the challenges had been well documented in terms of stable internet availability and all that. Now, over the period, with the help of TTL, what we in actual we conducted a study. Every college conducted a study to determine your location, your access to internet connectivity, and whether the student do have devices or gadgets to access the net. So every college was able to document the challenges a particular student do have. So all those who didn't have gadgets, devices to access the net, which was key, they have been given a subsidized gadgets, phones to access the net with. Secondly, a program was instituted whereby students who were not able to, because some were in the rural areas, and realized that with the college education setup, most of the colleges are in the hinterlands. Unlike Accra, PWC, and PC there in the cities and all that, Westco and all that. Most of them are hinterlands. So a program was instituted whereby those who do not have internet access at all, they were given hard copies of materials to interface. So they will send it to like a post office in a town. The students will go and take the material and read, answer any questions or assignments, and they submit it through the same mode. And I know that National Council for Tertiary Education are also currently in talks with ECG to allow them to use their pylons to transmit internet to areas like Amejofe, whereby they do not have internet facility. I also know that government, Ministry of Education has also contracted business who are installing internet facilities between 10 to 15 meg in all the colleges of education. Also, with the help of TTL, some colleges, almost like 36 colleges, have been given a certain amount, the counterpart funding, to establish network facilities in all the colleges. So we realize that now the pandemic has made us to realize our deficits, and the various institutions has been somehow invigorated to address these concerns. I know that as we move on, some of these, it wouldn't be 100% because it can never happen. Some of these challenges will be addressed. Now, if you look at the in out that you were doing, there are plethora of research works that pointed out to the challenges with that model. Because with that model, what we had was you have students spending 2 years on campus without any, apart from the observation they do in their first year, they do not have any interface with the community and the school at all. So you have the person doing 100% content work without interfacing with the school community, because the primary contact of the teacher when he goes out is the school community. Now you spend 2 years of your time in the classroom studying what you don't know even how it's being presented. So with this current STS, from level 100 to level 400, every year, every semester, once a day in every week, you interface with the community to at least avail yourself to the various presentation models, the various classroom management skills and all, and you document them and become part and parcel of you. So realize that this one really helps the teacher to affirm your competency, skills, and all that. And hitherto, we didn't have a case whereby what was taught at the colleges replicates at the basic schools. You come to the college and what you are taught is completely out of sync with what is being taught in the basic school. But now, you are being taught, let's say, a particulate matter. You go to the basic school, that is what is exactly taught. So currently, we are teaching you the content, how to deliver, that's the pedagogy. You go out there and you interface with the teachers who are teaching this program, and even you document whether they are teaching it the way they are supposed to teach, they are assessing it the way they should assess the student, which forms part of your journal. So right from day one, you are building your philosophy, you are building your competencies and skills as a teacher. So by the time we get to the level 400 and you pass out as a teacher or licensed teacher, I think you are well packaged and prepared to face the realities of the world there.
Yeah, Nathan, let me come here. Still on Patrick's question, does that mean that previously you've not been able to supervise the students' activities off campus? Or has there not been any documentation that specifies that when you go for off campus, these are the activities you do, these are the means of engaging community, give evidence of your engagement? Or it's just that you've allowed them to go, come back with project works, go supervise them when they teach, look at their pedagogic skills and knowledge in the area of specialization? How do you monitor affairs? Because it seems a lot has been exposed. Is it that there has been less supervision or something?
Okay. Personally, I believe in monitoring and evaluation and review. I even add review to it. That is, every program that is implemented over a period, there should be enough documentation of monitoring and evaluation so that it can help you to review what was done. Yes, myself as a product of the College of Education, that is then Training College, Commander Training College, I went through this teaching practice thing, which even was evolved in 2004, because what was between the 2000 and 90s, 2000 was quite different after the 2004. It wasn't that it lacked supervision and monitoring, but I realized that it was replete with a lot of challenges. One, you are asking the student to go and stay outside after they being exposed to the content for 2 years. They go out there and they are left on their own. Though you have periodic program supervision.
All right.
At times, a student is supposed to have 3 supervisions in a semester. So it means that apart from the supervision period, 3 times in a semester, the students are on their own. The mentors are supposed, in the schools that they've been posted to, are supposed to do the remaining of the supervisory work. But let me ask you, how sure were we that these mentors were doing? Because at times, the mentors who were supposed to be in a classroom for the teachers to observe what they do, they leave the classroom for these students who have learned nothing so far as class management is concerned, as well as even the delivery skills is concerned, their pedagogy, class control. And the students become half-baked. Unlike they being mentored seriously by these mentors in their school, the mentees finish the 1-year internship program without enough, skills to deliver. So that is what this particular SCS is seeking to address. That is, you go there, you have your journal, go and observe A, B, C, D. How morning assembly is conducted, how the teacher introduces the lesson, how the teacher manages a particular activity in the classroom. You document. You come and you interact with your supervisor based on the things that you yourself have documented and observed, so that you have an understanding as to why that particular activity
All right,
was
Nathan.
being done at that particular time.
Nathan,
Yes.
Hello. I have loads of messages, and both from teachers, some other students, a lot of messages. Let me give you this message from a tutor from Gambaga College of Education, Mr. Matthew A. Nyaba. He is saying that you know him, right?
Yeah.
Great. He's of the view. He said, blended learning will cost colleges of education and their learning experiences. Our experience in online learning has proven that it is a no-go area for college students in Ghana. Why not adopt the lecture system and reduce fees for students who can find accommodation outside schools to do so? Take this point first. Now he continued. Departments in universities are using this system, lecture and hostel system, and it's working for them. They accommodate more students than these current numbers, which is calling for a blended student. We are drastically reducing the quality of teacher education and education in general in Ghana. We initially have in-out system. It's so simple as change into in-out system if infrastructure is a problem. Drop the blended system. How will students at the diaspora cope? How will they manage their home interactions? How will they acquire the community experience and proper field experience? Please, let's face reality. It's taking discussions. A lot of messages. The messages are loaded. Let me guess. Let me try to conclude a lot of messages actually. In taking discussions like this, in talking about discussions like this, we need to involve the tutors and the students who are at the receiving end. So a lot of questions in this statement actually. These kind of decisions are mostly taken by officials who have little idea about what's happening on the ground. Teacher education is bleeding. But let's take this message and talk about it. A lot of messages actually, a lot of messages. Nathan.
All right. Yeah, let me take them stepwise.
Sure.
Now, we know that we are in a country whereby policymakers make decisions and they ask either teachers to fit in. That has been a challenge. So I wouldn't hold water for anybody who thought of this policy and asked teachers to, as it were, fit in or wear them. But the thing is that your employer has brought it up. Is it possible? Is it doable? So if it is possible and is being done, how best do we situate it in our context? Yes, I must admit that I listened to the CEO of Khan Academy, one popular online learning kind of website, and he admitted that indeed 100% e-learning or online learning is not the way to go. We thought technology can do that, but technology cannot teach the student for them to, as it were, acquire the skills that we need them to have. But we are doing so under the situation we find ourselves in. So at best, we need to find a way to make it work in our situation. We need to, as it were, package it in a way that we situate it in a Ghanaian teacher, a pre-service teacher contest, college education contest, so that we can make it work. The online learning that we did also brought certain issues out, which I think that it could be addressed. So it's not like because there are challenges, we throw the bath away with the baby. Now, he mentioned the going the hostel system.
The lecture and hostel system.
Yes, currently, I teach chemistry at Akrokeri College of Education. We are within a predominantly a mining area. We are about 15-minute drive from Obuase town. Now, let me ask you, how do you do that to ask students to go and hire rooms in an environment whereby you don't have enough accommodation for even people to hire? You can talk about Accra College of Education. Look at where Accra College of Education is situated. Are you asking students that it will be difficult for students to have accommodation around Accra College of Education to stay in? Fine, you can speak about a hostel system now for colleges that find themselves in a city. If you go to USO NC, how then you ask students to go, even if you go to the northern region, the Bimbila, all those areas, how do you ask students to go and look for their own accommodation based on? So our present locations of the colleges do not make it ideal. We will shift the problem onto the students. What is happening in the university is not the best. That yes, because you want the numbers, you ask students, and we all went through the system, and it was the best. Students have to go to campus instead of the challenge of, or the problem should be how I'm able to circumvent my content work and all that. Now the student is saddled with having money to go and hide at the same time. So I think that last year the government had a package which all the colleges are aware of. That is, every college was supposed to have a multi-purpose hostel facility and lecture halls. But I think that the COVID did it because they came around the campuses to identify the locations that these buildings will be sited. So that hostel facility system, yes, in a situation as an African country where we tend to go the easier way by government or policymakers shifting that task onto parents or on students to find accommodations for themselves to do this. It's not the best in my personal view. I think that the best is how we can manage what we have now so that we can have enough accommodation on campus for today. Because I cannot, somebody staying in Brekum, how do you have about the community being able to take on 500 students in a hostel? The student will now be, and we know what comes when students are asked to. Some will have to stay with their boyfriends and all that. And it's not something that we have to encourage now.
But Nathan,
yes.
Let me come in here. Even in the college system where they are being housed, let me say the boarding system, most of the things you've made mention as going on, has that any effect on quality education? For instance, where you get your accommodation, issues about boyfriends and girlfriends, it happens in colleges, even the pre-tertiary institutions, even rampant than the tertiary institutions. Issues about the acquiring of the pedagogic skills. Let me take you back to something. In 2018, I remembered I was the lead panel for TTEL's college challenge, the challenge fund. Held at Kofi Radio, that's the Capital View Hotel. Good. I raised salient issues just like this, and I remembered there was this college from one of the northern regions, and I told them that their presentation wasn't the best in relation to the money involved, and I gave reasons, and later they realized that I was giving the points, as in the looking at the pedagogy skills, looking at issues with relationships, looking at issues with proximity, and you've raised similar issue, and you are saying that per Matthew's perspective, he is a tutor, right? He is teaching, so he is speaking from a tutor perspective. Are you saying that these things have detriment on quality education in teachers training colleges or college of education?
Not at all. I'm not saying that there's no correlation. I haven't come across that correlation between hostel accommodation and quality
education.
of education. No. But I'm saying that let me take a typical example of a college. For example, PWCE, which is a brief, just
Presbyterian Women College of
hometown.
Education.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, PWCE, I don't know how a brief can, unless we ask private partners to come in to put up, but I don't know how a town system can absorb 500 pre-service teachers to come and stay in, and so it's not like it is not possible or it's not good, but the current situation where we have college education not situated in cities. You have Cape Coast in a city. Cape Coast has the capacity to deal with that. We have K University in Kumasi. K University has the capacity to deal with that. You have Legon. Legon has the capacity to deal with that. So the issue is that are these colleges and the towns that they are in, are they in a position to help develop the hostels that can deal with it? And even that, if they can do that, I don't think that anybody within the next 3 months can put up hostel facilities for the academic year to begin. So if it's something that we should romance with that thought, it cannot be within the next 6 months. Okay. We have to allow the system to run whilst yes, I was part of a council meeting whereby the council chair and the head of the institution were moving for a PPA, that is PPP, that's a public partner, whatever.
Public-private partnership.
Private, yes. So that you have BOT, build, operate, and transfer, so that a private person comes in. But the colleges are not really exposed to this package. So if the ministry can or NCT can somehow allow the colleges to go in that direction, to allow private person to come in, so that they put that facility, it will help. But in the current situation that we have now, it is something, a long-term planning and program. But currently, where schools are reopening on the 11th of January, we can have the private institutions, as it were, coming in to put out the facility before colleges open or reopens in January. So yes, the hostel can help deal with the challenges, but currently, schools are reopening in less than a month. We can't have those arrangements. So it should be planned. It should be a strategy to, as it were, resource the colleges so far as infrastructural facilities are concerned, so that come, let's say, 2020-2022 academic year, the hostel facilities will be available to deal with accommodation issues, so that that blended system can do away with the blend. Because nobody likes the blended learning, because as I'm even speaking to you, the system keeps on fluctuating and all that. It's not the best.
So Nathan, has there been, has there been any preparation towards achieving the hostel ideology in the 2021-22 academic year as you've envisaged?
It is something that the leadership of the association we've talked about. How is it possible for the colleges should be tweaked and positioned in such a way that they can attract private investments on campuses and all that, and the readiness of students, because currently they are enjoying the freebies from government, whereby they are giving allowances, they are giving hostel, though they pay something small and all that. How are the students prepared, ready to, as it were, pay for hostel accommodation? So it's a whole paradigm shift, and it's a whole new idea which should be introduced with caution, so that a whole strategic plan should be put in place to allow the system to go in that direction.
All right, I can tell you that there are lots of messages, and
I could imagine.
Yes, a lot of messages from students, from tutors, from other educationists, from politicians, a lot of messages. But you know, people are also calling for an extended version of the show. We will see what we can do about that. But let me come back to my educationist, and I come back to Patrick. Claudia.
Okay. Ellis.
You've been through College of Education before you went to the University of Education, Winnipeg. You've been through the system. Yeah. You know about the in-out segment and all that. We are now looking at a blended system.
Yeah.
Where are we heading to from your perspective as an educationist?
Okay, so I actually wanted to pass a comment on the message read.
Okay.
pre-service teachers, or what we used to call teacher trainees, at the moment should be ready to embrace technology in the classroom. We are not going back. Technology is the future of education. There are people in Ghana here that are schooling online at Harvard, Oxford, and the rest.
That's true.
The pandemic has exposed the fact that there are a lot of teachers in the classroom who cannot even do very simple things using their smartphones. Teachers couldn't create simple WhatsApp groups to keep putting short assignments here and there on the pages for their children to be reading and all that, or to be having hands-on activities while at home. So for me, the blended learning is a step in the right direction. It will come with its own challenges. That is why it is not a wholesale something, and we are not starting it at the basic level, but we are starting it in a tertiary institution. And they have also made attempts to get them the gadgets. I heard they were given subsidized smartphones or tablets to help them in that regard. See, let's embrace technology. It will come with its challenges. If we don't start today and deal with the challenges it comes with, then we'll be in the 22nd century and we'll still not be technologically inclined. So that is my bit on the colleges side. But Ellis, I think time is fast spent.
Yeah, that's true.
We are rather getting to the end. I would like to pass a comment on the basic level.
I'll be coming there, so don't worry. I'll be finalizing on the basic level, so don't worry about that. Let me go to Patrick. I'll come back to you.
All right.
Patrick Nisaki.
Yep.
Coalition of Concerned Teachers. You are in charge of teachers at the pre-tertiary level. Is that not it?
Sure.
I want us to look at the current curriculum, the standard-based curriculum that has been implemented a year ago. How is the implementing strategies that has been employed? How do you see them as a union? Speaking from the union perspective and as a teacher.
Before I go to that, I would like Mr. Nathan to jot down this point so that he will respond to it at appropriate time.
Okay.
What systems have been put in place to ensure originality of work for students who will be using the online or the blended system, so that they don't Google every assignment and then give it to their tutors to mark?
All right, Nathan, so jot that for me. Jot that down for me.
Okay.
Sure. All right.
Now, coming back to the question, I think that the implementation of the new curriculum was poorly done.
Okay.
By my own assessment. Because, see, this new curriculum introduced several new contents. Indeed, the teacher is supposed to know everything, but the teacher is not supposed to know everything. The only training that the teacher was taken through was how to implement this new curriculum.
The pedagogies.
But frankly speaking, some of the new contents which the teacher has no idea of, no training whatsoever was any of the teachers taking through. For example, if you go to ICT, they have introduced new topics like coding, that is Visual Basics, and some other languages, C# and some other languages, right from the upper primary. No teacher in College of Education was taught coding. Teachers in College of Education are taking through some form of ICT courses.
Okay.
But some of the content which was introduced, and it is not only ICT, some other subjects, the topics or the content are extremely new to the teacher. And we expect the teacher to deliver those contents.
Okay.
Then I can't foresee how it is going to be done. If these teachers, you see, most of the teachers for ICT and some other subjects are not masters of the subjects. And in basic schools, because we are not practicing subject teachers, some of the teachers tends to concentrate on where their mastery are and then leave the rest. At the end of the day, it is the teacher that suffers. In fact, the way the new curriculum has been implemented right from its onset, I have not been happy about it. But it's not too late. Maybe there is something that can be done. But I think that there is a lot that needs to be done in the implementation. Because, for example, currently as we speak, that of JHS has not come out yet.
Yeah.
Teachers has not been taken through any training yet. But the class 6 students who were taken through the new curriculum are supposed to come and fill the gap in GHS1. When they come, what are they coming to do? Are they coming to continue with the old curriculum that is being practiced at the JHS? Or I think that our institutions should be up and doing, and then I think the NACA board chairman or something, NACA boss has been elected as an MP elect.
Yeah, so
And
we should
I
be
think
expecting a
that
new
there should be
person.
someone to fill the gap, and then there's a serious work that needs to be done.
Sure,
frankly.
sure. Then before Nathan comes in, let me go to the private schools. Enoch,
Yes, sir.
this is an issue where private schools were also trained on the new curriculum. The new curriculum, the standard-based curriculum, came with its own challenges, as being identified by the teacher unions. How has the implementation been so far for private schools?
Okay, thank you very much. I will use the pandemic as a parameter to measure the implementation of the curriculum to see if truly it is something that has been, the understanding has really gone deeper as we are all looking at it. If you read the front matters or the rationale of the SBC, that is standard-based curriculum, it's geared towards the third phase learning. And the third phase learning is what we call the attainment focus, which is more of the behavioral enhancement. It moves the understanding from the first learning phase, that is pen and paper test, which is called the prime focus, to the third phase learning, even jump the second phase learning, which one day we will discuss about it.
Okay.
But when you are assessing or you are implementing the third phase learning as a behavioral enhancement, it takes the learning field supposed to be 50-50, meaning that you have to spend 50% in a classroom and then 50% outside classroom. So at this pandemic period, the government shut down the schools. The government did not say that we shouldn't learn or you shouldn't allow the children to study. You should understand it. So if the understanding of the implementation of the curriculum is well achieved, we would have used the 50% of the, let's say, the outside classroom learning to still give or deliver education to the, the people that the students. But you all know very well that then obviously everything came to the standstill because the actual understanding of the standard-based curriculum, which propelled the behavioral enhancement, was not done. We are still using pen and paper tests. People are still writing exams. We don't see any jury because the assessment of it is on the core competencies and the global expectation that you will see a behavioral enhancement. We have been seeing critically because if teachers have been trained to go and teach critical thinking and they have been faced by the pandemic, why can't they think critically to still deliver? You get the point. That is that. So these parameters will just let you know that the implementation of the curriculum is not really achieve. There's a need for us to revisit it. And I've been an advocate for this thing, that there's a need. It was a rush. It was a rush. How can you train a behavioral enhancement for within, let's say, 5 days? When you go this and that and that and that, you experience certain issues of these teachers complaining and that and that. When you get to the private schools, that was the first time we even called NACA to train master trainers from the private schools, so that they can train their own teachers. It also came in with a lot of challenges where GES was saying that they will not accept that and all that. And I know there were a lot of communication on that. So even right from that onset, people feel that the whole idea was not the best. Then, if you look at the examination aspect, truly, one of the futures of this SBC or standard-based curriculum is that we don't dwell on internal assessment to ascertain the progression or the development of the child, but rather observation and the rest. But have we been trained on critical observations? That is, because when anybody that is talking about observation should know that it gears towards the hidden curriculums. And if you look at the concepts of our educational system for a very long period of time, we proud ourselves with the prime focus, where the knowledge and the content is the key thing. So we memorize, we do all these things. Judging from the pandemic and its, let's say, resultant issues that has come out, I will say that the establishments or the implementation of the standard-based curriculum should be revisited. And we need to conduct a new, processes as to how even the front matters, the curriculum developers really understood the concept that they brought it up. Because some of us, we have done the curriculum development and research, know very well that what we are doing in our schools, if we really understand it very well, at this pandemic, we could have still give education to the learners.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Let me go to the educationists before I come to Nathan. Claudia,
Hello.
there has been this perception that the new curriculum, that's the standard-based curriculum, is just basically change of names of terminologies with little addition. For instance, issues like the forms of assessment, assessment as, assessment for, and assessment of are just pre-assessment. As that's the introduction, the main, and then the plenary or the conclusion or the summary. These are, according to people, are just change of names. Looking at other issues like instructors now, teachers being instructors, other new terminologies that are just change of names. That has any impact on the quality of implementation?
Thank you very much. I must say, for some time now, it looks like Ghana, the only thing we are good at is to rebrand our problems, not to actually solve them. We find a different name to represent something, and we think we have solved the problem, but the problem actually is deep down. We don't start solving the problem from the root. In fact, to change the name of teachers to facilitators, then I heard the most ridiculous one, which says head teachers are CEOs.
Chief Executive Officers.
CEOs, and recently, CEO is on a single spine. That is ridiculous. Then we have, recently I heard the facilitators have also been changed to teachers.
They have been changed to what?
Students are now learners. Like,
I think circuit supervisors are now school inspectorate authorities. Wow.
Like, how does that affect the work? The name has nothing to do with the work.
Maybe modernization, don't you think so?
If we want to be results oriented, we should start assigning roles, changing the roles, what they are supposed to be doing. What outcomes are we looking for? We have basic school teachers here who are struggling to teach the new history or whatever that has been introduced at their level because they don't have any knowledge about the subtopics in the book. They have to be Googling teachers had to teach on their own because there were no materials after the program was implemented. Now they said type a lesson note, present. Like I just don't know where we are going with this back and forth with. I think our leaders, once they hear, if you attach yourself to this organization, there is some money you can get, some donor support you can get, and all that. Then we rush quickly, irrespective of the background problems and specific problems we have in our country here. Then quickly we run and go for the money and come and start and pretend to be doing something. See, there are serious organizations that are willing to pump in money, but these organizations are results-oriented groups. They want to see the change. NACA is supposed to be organizing workshop for JHS teachers, but at the moment, Gallup is running for some selected school. That is the Ghana, is it accountability learning and what
I think it's for
performance,
low performing
outcome or
schools.
whatever.
It's for low performing schools, right?
Yes, that one has started. I know it is some money that has come, and we quickly want to push it somewhere so that we'll pretend to be. See, we must get serious, especially at the basic level. What is happening there? It looks like because at that level, it is actually the poor that suffers the most. We don't see the leaders doing so much, but when you go to the senior high school, almost all the rich and the poor meet in the same environment. They go through the same learning experiences. And at the basic level, it looks like they are just playing. They are toying with the system. And I become sad when I look at what we can do. The opportunities are available for government to explore, to change the narrative.
Okay.
And we go back and forth, putting it in money. That is what even kills me when I hear them putting educational policies in their manifestos. So are they trying to tell us that we don't have educationists, we have technocrats in that regard that can come together, have a 10-year development plan in education or 20 years development plan in education so that every government that comes in follows that plan, and then we gradually see the change we want. Unlike we having to go by 4-year manifesto promises that this one will come with, the next one will come and change everything, this one will come. Please, Ghana must change. We need a change in how we manage our educational system.
Good. My producers are saying they will have an extended version of the show before reopening of schools. So we look at how best we can prepare for reopening of schools. But let me come to Nathan to conclude our show for today. Nathan.
Hello.
Yeah, you are not necessarily involved in basic issues, but you prepare teachers for basic education. But let me start with the systems that you put in place to check originality of work from your students.
All right. I might say that what my dear sister educationist and talked about is true, where we don't look at the problems at the basic school level, but we do the palm and pageantry with respect to launching of programs and packaging of educational policy. It doesn't really wash, because I look at the situation where a proprietor who put up a school and the students who go there at the basic school level 1, 2, 3, they do better than the government institutions that the basic schools. It's really a challenge for me. And I always, when I meet our students who pass out, I ask them, what is it the challenge? Because you've been trained, you've been equipped to go and deliver. But rather the person who hitherto they use SHS graduates and all that to teach at this basic level. And the students are doing well. So realize that something is missing, you know. Yes, now I come to Patrick's question as to the systems in place. Seriously speaking, cheating.
Hello? Hello? Nathan, your microphone is off. Kindly check that for us. Hello? Yeah, Nathan. Yeah, Nathan, are you there?
Ferdinand, I think we can move on so that when he joins
All right.
us.
Actually, the number of messages we've received shows that there's a call for an extended version. So we are going to continue this discussion the last Saturday to reopening of schools, so that we look at other issues concerning the education after the election 2020. Let me say a very big thank you to all of you. Let me get your final words so we say goodbye to Ghana. Let me start with Patrick.
Thank you very much for hosting us.
Yeah.
I think it's a good direction that we discuss the way forward as far as education is concerned. My final word is the teacher training colleges, the new policy, I think should be relooked at.
Okay.
I'm very much concerned about the community experience. Community experience is not just going to the classroom and interacting with the children.
Okay.
It involves associating yourself with the community. Sometimes they come with their problems, the challenges with accommodation and stuff. You see, you have to learn all these experiences before you go out there to have a first hand of that.
Okay.
So I think that we should relook at the community experience very well.
All right.
And then I'm very much also concerned about the originality of work as far as the online blended.
Yeah, Nathan couldn't respond to that due to his network. But I'm sure during our next meeting, we'll look at that before school resumes.
Sure.
All right, let me go to the private schools. Enoch.
Yeah, Phelan.
Yeah, your final word for us as we summarize.
Yeah, I have to take this opportunity to appreciate you and also congratulate you for bringing the youthful, people in the education sector together to discuss the way forward. It's very, very important that we meet once in a while to dialogue and see where we are doing well and where we are not doing well to, let's say, amend certain situations.
Sure.
By our view and very strong conviction that as we dialogue, as we are prepared to push hard, we can change the face of education in this country.
Sure.
And we have to also relook at how best our assessment and the monopolistic aspect of assessment will be taken out from our educational system, because that is one of the major issues that are affecting our educational outcomes in this country. It has been pen and paper, pen and paper, pen and paper. But naturally, Ghanaians are built from developmental status as our DNAs. So there's a need for us to have diverse assessment models that will propel the learners' academic progressions in life. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Let me end on the... Is Nathan back? No. All right, so let me go to the educationist. Claudia.
Okay, Ferdinand, I'll conclude by saying that reopening is not too far. 2021 is just around the corner.
Sure.
And myself and my team, we have done a lot of work in some deprived communities that shows that a lot of children and parents are not doing anything to welcome reopening. Most of the children don't even have plans of returning to the classroom. And I know that around this time, I was expecting the Ministry of Education and some other bodies related to education to start having campaigns and jingles on back to school, like my colleagues and I have been doing, playing jingles on back to school, so that our children in the villages and deprived communities who may have forgotten that they have to go back to school, buy their shoes, uniforms are torn. These are basic things that parents should start doing before 2021. You know, Christmas is around the corner.
Yeah.
They'll be spending above their budget and all that. So I'm encouraging all parents and listeners to start preparing or psyching the mind of their children that they'll be going back to school. And you do this by starting to buy books, by buying uniform, buying footwear. These are the basic things that I expect them to be doing.
All right.
And I also want government to start showing us their reopening plans. In my school at the moment, the Form 2s that came, we had to split them into 3 classrooms before we were able to observe social distance.
Wow.
So I want government to come out with their reopening plans for us from kindergarten to JHS, how they want to do it. We don't want the reopening to come before they come out with the plan, and then we have challenges with this and they have to withdraw. If we are kicking start, let's kick start like UNICEF and co are admonishing us to do, put things in order so that when we start, we know we are starting. We have lost a lot in the last 9 months of staying at home. Thank you very much, and I'm so glad to have been on this panel with the other beautiful beings that are here. I wish we could do this once again.
Yeah. Nathan has joined me via WhatsApp. I don't know. Nathan, let me also hear your concluding remarks since we are almost done.
Okay. So I mean, I don't see there, and I was saying that the system is being worked on. It's not perfect. Students will cheat. Students will always like to be dishonest about assignment and all that. So systems are being put in place to ensure that students submit accurate work that are done by themselves. So it's not a perfect system now. It's still working in progress, and I think that we get it. And I would like to say that government should really turn a good eye on the college education so far as our structural deficit is concerned, so that in the coming year 2021, Get Fund will come in to resolve the colleges to have adequate infrastructure to deal with the system, and also turn to the colleges and the teachers who will deliver the 4-year program to motivate the teachers so that all the signed conditions of service documentation and signed agreement will be adhered to by all parties, so that coming 2021 there wouldn't be any issue about strike and issues of non-agreements and all that. So we are praying that none of the such happen, so that the academic year will move on smoothly. So I would say good morning to all the tax members nationwide, and let's keep the work going.
All right, sure. Let me say a very big thank you to you for joining us. Our next discussion, when we meet again, we'll be talking about the teacher unions, the collective agreements, education, the future, and the way forward. Until then, let me say a very big thank you to all our viewers. Thanks to the panel. Let me remind you, we have Mr. Enokwesi Jentua. He is the Executive Director of Ghana National Council of Private Schools, NACOPS. We also had Claudia Dodu. She is an educationist and a political commentator. We have Nathan Ohenijan. He is the General Secretary of the College of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, CETA. We also have Patrick Nisaki. He is the Deputy Secretary of the Coalition of Concerned Teachers. My name is Ellis Ferdinand, and I'm talking about issues of education. Next, this is a social-political show. Today is education. Let me say a big thank you to all our guests, our panelists, for a great show done. And until then, let me say a good thank you to my producer. I have Coach. I have a lot of people in the studios here. I have my DJ Luis. I have head of technicians and then streaming. I have Albert is in the studio. The whole sports crew getting ready. I also have King Josie in the studios. He's always working on my streaming and talking technical issues. Prophecies in the studios. A lot of people in the studios. Let me say a big thank you to everybody. I'll be back again next Saturday. And until then, my sponsors, Summer Hill Estate. Thanks for the support. Summer Hill Estate. Also Sparrow Securities. I also have Summer Factory. A lot of people helping us. If you want to sponsor the show, don't worry. Just get to me or get to my producers. I'll give you more chances for double prices. And until then, same time Saturday. My name is Ellis Ferdinand. The show, the forum. My name is Ellis Ferdinand. We're going back to house. We're going to relax ourselves on next Saturday. The sports crew getting ready. Thanks to our CEO, Nanaya Obin. My general manager, Conte Wana. My coach, my producer extraordinary producer, Coach. Big thank you. And until then, see you next time, Saturday morning. My name is Ellis Ferdinand. Goodbye.